Have you ever wanted to see a tree that glows in the dark? Well, how about an entire forest of glowing trees that could replace streetlights and save energy? Turns out the science behind making a tree glow is actually pretty simple. There are lots of living things on Earth that can make light through a process called bioluminescence. Bioluminescence is what makes fireflies glow, and it's also what makes some jellyfish and fungi glow. Bioluminescence happens when an enzyme called luciferase acts on a light-emitting molecule called luciferin to produce an excited state that releases light as it returns to its normal state. Different luciferins and luciferases produce different colors of light, and scientists have been able to harness these molecules to make plants glow different colors too. In the 1980s, a tobacco plant was engineered with firefly genes, and as a result, it glowed a faint green in the dark. But this plant required external luciferin, and it didn't glow very brightly. More recently, in 2020, researchers transferred the genes for bioluminescence from a mushroom called Neonathoponus nambi into tobacco plants. This created a self-sustaining glowing plant that didn't need any external chemicals to glow green. There have been several other attempts to make glowing trees, like this Kickstarter project in 2013 called The Glowing Plant, which aimed to raise $100,000 to develop a glowing Arabidopsis thaliana, a small flowering plant related to mustard greens. The project raised almost $500,000, but ultimately failed to produce a plant that glowed bright enough to be useful, and there are a lot of reasons why. Plants have to compete with each other for resources like water and sunlight. They've evolved to prioritize those things over glowing in the dark. Making a plant glow brightly takes a lot of energy, and that energy has to come from somewhere. Plants that glow also tend to die young, probably because the process of making light damages their cells. And then there's the question of what color the plant will glow. Most bioluminescent organisms glow blue or green, but that doesn't necessarily make sense for a tree. You might want a tree to glow red or orange, like the colors of autumn leaves, or even white, like a traditional Christmas tree. Despite all those challenges, researchers at MIT have managed to make glowing trees using nanobionic technology. In 2021, they injected watercress with nanoparticles containing luciferase, and the plant glowed faintly for about 4 hours. The researchers hope to scale up their technique. Maybe one day where it could light up a whole forest of trees to the level of a streetlight. Meanwhile, in Switzerland, researchers have taken a different approach. They've created something they call biohybrid. Glowing wood by combining balsa wood with a type of ringless honey fungus that contains luciferin. The wood glows green for up to 10 days, but this approach damages the structure of the wood, so it's not very practical. Ultimately, the goal of all this research is to create eco-friendly lighting that could reduce energy use and carbon emissions. If just one tree could replace a streetlight, we could save a lot of electricity, which would be great. But there are still a lot of technical challenges to overcome before we can turn our forests into glowing light shows. Like, do we want to mess with the genes of every single tree in the forest? What if the pollen or seeds from the glowing trees spread the glowing genes to other plants or even to animals? How would that affect the ecosystem? There are a lot of important questions to consider before we can unleash glowing trees into the world. If you like these facts, make sure to check out our other videos. Like, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more.